Welcome back. In this video, I will be explaining about developing a quiz application using MIT App Inventor. So to start with, we will go for projects and click on start new project. Give a name for it. So since I have a quiz application named as quiz already, now I name it as quiz application. Okay, give OK. Now this will take you to a new development environment. So this is your new project environment. So here, as I said earlier, there are two components. One is the designer, the other is the blocks. So first we will design the elements. To design it, so since it's a quiz application, first we will take a label. Okay, so we will increase the size of the font to say 20 to have a good look. And the text we will name it as question. Okay, and here also we can rename it. So this is quiz question. Now to have the options, so the quiz question will be displayed here. Okay, and now to display the options, we will have three buttons. Button 1, button 2, and button 3. So again we can rename every button. So this is your option 1. Yeah. And then the text also, display text also, I'll change it to say option 1. And this is renamed to say option 2. So you have only three options for every question. Option 2. And this is renamed to option 3. So here also to change the display text, I'm changing it here also. So if you have any doubts, you can refer to the simple applications what I have done already to make people familiar with the basic things. Okay. And then finally I have another label to display the score. Okay, so this also I can set it to some at least something. Okay, so this is to display the score. So here I'll change it to quiz score. Okay, quiz score. So initially it is 0. So okay. So quiz score is 0. So this is the initial label which will be there. And to make some message to be displayed so that finally when you complete everything, the quiz is completed, the message box will say that the quiz is completed and it will display the score and all. To do that, we will include a notifier block. Again, this notifier block, since it will not be visible inside the application screen or frame, so it is coming to the not visible component. So now we have just developed the designer. So to add the functionality, we'll go to the blocks pane. So in the blocks pane, what we will do is we will have a lot of initialization first. So in order to develop the application, we need to have a global, here. We initialize some of the variables first. Okay, so we'll go to variables first. So initialize global variable. So we need a variable to hold the index. To move from one question to the other, we need index. So I'll have index. And this index I will set to, so it will start from 1. Okay, so I'll set it to 1. So this is a variable. I am going to set it to 1. And then I need another variable to store the score. So this variable I'll call it as score. Again I'll set this to score. I'll set it to 0 because score should start from 0. So I'll take it as 0. Okay. Next is I will have to initialize the questions and answers and as well as correct answers. Okay, I should have questions in a list, answers in a list and the correct answers in another list because we need to compute the score whenever that is correct and we need not add score if the answer is wrong. So first we will prepare a list. So initialize global variable. Now this is we will have it as questions. So this is a questions list and we will prepare a list of questions. So we will make a list. So we'll add one more question. Okay. So we will add one more question to the list. So totally 3 questions. I'm going to have a quiz which will have 3 questions. You can increase the number of questions. So here first question. So I will include the question in a text box. So the first question is, okay, the binary value of 8 is, okay. The second question, so I'll just duplicate it. I put it here. Later I'll edit it. Okay. The binary value of 8 BCD, also BCD code is also known as, okay, that's the second question. The third question we will have it as a byte consists of, okay, how many bits? Okay, yeah. So these are all the 3 questions. Now I take again, I go to variables. Now I need to initialize the answers. Okay, so answers. Again, I make a list of answers. So for each question, I need to give, again, I'm going to give only 3 answers, not 4 answers. I'm going to give 3 answers for each question. So for the first question, I'm going to give an answer, 3 answers. So inside make a list, I am again going to make another list. So 3 questions. For each question, I'm going to give 3 answers. Okay. So for the first question, we will have suitable answers. So again, I'll drag, I'll duplicate it. Okay. So make a list. So for the first question, I will have the answers as 10, 100 and say 1000. Next is, I will duplicate it again. And I will prepare the answers for BCD, say 8421, 2421. So this I say gray code. Again, now I duplicate this. Okay. And I have answers like 4-bit, 8-bit, 16-bit. Okay. So these are all the different choices which you are going to provide, options. Okay. You are going to provide for each question. Okay. Now we will have some more elaborate functionality described after initializing the correct answers. Okay. So now I'm going to have one more initialization. So this is nothing but correct answers. So the variable name is correct answers. Make a list of correct answers. So again, there are 3 questions. So I will drag the item again, click on the gear button. So those who have doubts or those who feel that I'm doing it a bit faster, please refer to the simple application what I have added already and added in the channel. Okay. So the 3 correct answers I'm going to display it here. So the correct answers are, for the first question, the correct answer is in the index 3. Okay. I'll duplicate this. Again, I'll make one more duplication. Okay, for the second question, the correct answer is in first position. For the third question, the correct answer is in the second position. So these are all indexes. Okay, indexes of that particular list. So now we have done this. Having done this, we will have the first initialization. So that is when press on the screen. So this quiz will be executed when the screen is starting itself. Okay. So when the screen is initialized, when the application runs and the first screen is initialized, the application will start executing. And now to load the questions, we need to have a function. So the load question function. So to write this function, you go to procedures. Okay. You have this procedure. So we'll prepare the procedure. So this procedure is going to be load questions. Okay, load questions. The name of this procedure is going to be load questions. That is, when the screen is initialized, you will load the question one after the other. Okay, one after the other. So we'll go here. No, not this. Actually, after you create a procedure, you will be having this button call enabled. So when the screen is initialized, actually you have to call this function or procedure called load questions. So this is the definition and this is the call. Okay. So now we are going to define the load question function because it has to display the question one by one. So we will start setting the questions one by one. First in the first display, it has to display the question and followed by that it has to display the choices. Okay, so first question should be displayed, followed by you have to display the choices. So for that you're going to set label. Yeah, set this quiz question dot text. So take this, put it over here. So this text, you're going to take it from the list what you have prepared. Okay, so you're going to use the block called select list item. Okay, because the question is already stored in a list and this is a questions list. From this questions list, I'm going to take the first question and so on. First question followed by the next question and followed by the next question. So here I'm going to go to variables. So already all the declared or all the defined variables will be listed here. So since I'm going to get the value, I'm going to call the function called get method. So here inside this block, I have to choose the list which I have to use. What is the list? So these are all the list of all the variables what you have created now. This answer, correct answer, questions, index, score, all these variables what you created is coming here. It's popping out here and you have to take the correct questions. Okay, global questions. So because we are going to display the question first followed by the options. So here next is index. Indexes again I'll duplicate this get method. In that I will call the index. So this is the first thing. So for every call of this load question, a question will be called at a particular location. So because we are going to vary this location index, so it will depend upon the location, the question will be printed. If it is index 1, the first question will be displayed. If it is index 2, the second question will be displayed. Okay. Next is I need to do the same thing, that is for each button I have to do this. So set option 1 dot text. Okay, go for finding this method. Set option 1 dot text because I have kept the first option. as option 1 button. So here I need to select again the list. Okay, so this list, yeah, select item list. Okay, so here I need to select all the answers. Among the answers, I need to take the first one. So there is going to be two nested lists. So once again, I'll duplicate it. Okay, I'll duplicate it. Okay, put it here, and I need to call so I need to get the values from the variable global answers. Okay, answers. I need to get the value from the answers, and the indexes, I will again duplicate it. Indexes, again index. Okay, index. Index always moves from 1 to say 3. That's the maximum value we have here. So 1 to 3. Because in questions I have only 3 questions, and in answers again I have only 3. And this time here, since it is option 1, I need to take the answers corresponding to the first list. Okay, the answers corresponding to the first list, and among that the first one. Okay, among that the first one. So here I take it as this one because this is a numerical value. So 1. Now next is again I need to just duplicate it. Okay, duplicate it for 2 times because I need to have this for the two more but options, the two more options. So same thing for option 2, and this is for option 3. Okay, and now here I need to have it for option 2. This is for option 3, the third button. So corresponding answer will be displayed. Now having done this, now we are going to call this method every time we need it. Okay. So load question is done. Next is you have to have the load answer method. Okay, one second. Load answer, no, not load answer, it is check answer. Okay, because meaningfully we will have it as check answer. So I'll create another procedure. So this is going to be check the answers. Okay, check the answers to whether it's correct or not. Okay, sure. Answers. So whatever the answers what you clicked now, we are going to compare with the correct answers. That is, selected option is going to be compared with the option. So now actually to enter here, we need to know one thing, that is what is the selected option. So when you are calling this function, you need to pass one argument called selected option. That is, nama option 1 click pannoma, whether the option 2 is clicked or option 3 is clicked. So to add parameters to the procedure, just click on this gear symbol, again drag this to the right side. Okay, when you do this, automatically, actually inside. Okay, so when you drag it to inside, if you could see, the argument is added. This argument I will say the selected option. So whatever is the user has selected, who is attending the quiz, whatever the answer he selected or the option he selected among this 1, 2, 3, that will be passed as an argument to the procedure check answer. Now this selected option will be checked with the correct answer. Okay, so correct answer is here. Okay, yeah. Now I'm going to initialize a local variable also. Okay, so to initialize a local variable, initialize local. So this name I'll call it as answer. Okay, answer. Okay, answer. And now this I'm going to initialize this local value to a list, and list is the answers. Okay, the correct answers, whatever the correct answers what you have declared here. So I will select it, select the list. Okay, so this is the correct. Now I'm going to call the correct answer. Okay, I'm going to pass the correct answer. So to pass the correct answer, go to variables, get the correct answer, get the correct answers. Yes, get the correct answers. and again I will duplicate it to add the index. The index is again global index ranging from 1 to 3. Okay. Now I'm going to compare. After taking these choices, I'm going to compare it with the selected option. So the correct option, selected option is you might have selected the first button or clicked on the second button or third button, and now I have the correct answer here. Either it is 3, 1, 2, and if this 3 matches with this option 3, if you have pressed option 3, then you say add 1 to the score because it's a correct answer. So the correct answer for the question is 3, as well as you have pressed the button to be 3. So now if both are equal, we need to increase the score by 1. Okay, otherwise the score need not be increased. Okay, so to check this, no, we are going to have an if else function. Okay. So first we will have a function. Okay, so we are going to compare the selected option with the, so go to logic. We are going to compare this. So compare what and what? The selected option is equal to the correct answer. Okay, we are going to compare these two. Okay, whether the selected option is equal to the correct answer. Okay, so selected option, to get it, get selected option. So the selected option is, you have to put it over here to get that. Yeah, now the selected, because it is a local variable, and so it will be shown as an option only when you place it inside the procedure, because it is local. Global variable, wherever you have inside the project, it is accessible, but if it is a local variable, it is accessible only within the procedure. Okay, so click on selected option. Now we are going to compare the selected option to the correct answer, that is this answer. Okay, so again I click on variables and I get this value. So selected option is compared with this answer, this local variable. Okay, so if both are equal, now we have to increase the score, so for which again I go to the set method. Okay, so in the set method I'm going to take global score and I'm going to increase the score by 1. So for which I take the math function. I need to add a value, right? So just put it here. Okay, so add what to what? I have to add the global score again. Okay, so I take the global score value. I take the global score value and add with 1. Okay, so here to add 1, I put this operator here and I add with 1. So I'm increasing the score. If the answer is correct, I will increase the score by 1. Okay, now I need to set the score also. Okay, that is the label. I need to set the label. Okay, so go to score. This is a label which is going to store the score. So go there, drag this particular block, set score. Okay, so this is a label. So set score dot text to, what is the value now? This get score. So duplicate it, put it here. So you have added 1 to it if it is correct, and so that value will be fetched and it will be displayed. Okay. And now we have to increase. After the first question is over, we need to increase the index by 1. Originally the index is 1. Now we need to increase the index by 1. Okay, so to do that, again I'm going to call the set method. Set global index. So I need to increase the global index by 1. So the same operation, right? So I'm going to duplicate it. Okay, so here instead of score, I'm going to increment the global index by 1. So just counter increase panna. We have now increased it. Okay. Lastly, finally, we need to repeat this for every question. And after all the 3 questions is over, we need to compare that, right? Whether the 3 questions is over or not, or we need to make a repetition. So for that, we again have a if condition. So with the if else. So I'm just going to compare whether this global index is greater than or less than the length of the list. Okay. less than, we'll just make a comparison to less than or greater than. If it is greater than, it will quit and go outside. If it is lesser than, then it will call the load question again. After the first question is over, once again we need to call the load question. Okay, so what we will do is, we will just make a comparison. What is the comparison? Whether it's, if it is greater, it should quit and go outside. So this time, see, actually when you make this comparison equal to, I have chosen this logical comparison, and even in this case I can go for this comparison actually. Okay, so this is a mathematical comparison. So here you have all this less than or equal to, greater than, greater than or equal to. So I put this here. I'm going to take the value of global index. Okay, get the value of global index. So I duplicate this again. So I'm going to get the value of global index, and I'm going to compare, that is greater than on check panna poren. I'm going to compare whether it is greater than length of the list. Okay, so length is a function, already it is available as a block. Length of the list, what list? The global question. Okay, index on the, if it is greater than the global question, then we need to quit. Okay, so for which I just again take, I'll duplicate this. Okay, I'll duplicate this, put it here, and change this global index to questions. Okay, so if the index is greater than the number of questions, the length of the questions, then we need to quit and come outside. Okay, so for this we need to display the total score and all. So for that you go for the notifier, which will be able to print a message as a dialog, a different window. So here, go here, choose this call notifier, show message dialog. So what is the message we are going to print is the score. Okay, so quiz is completed, and I'm going to say the score also. So I will take this join block, because I'm going to combine two text. One is the score, the other is, okay, one is the score, the other is just a message that the quiz is completed. Okay, the quiz completed, is completed. The score is, score is. So in this score, now I have to take the score. So again I will duplicate this, get block, and this time I'm not going to take the question, but I'm going to take the answers. No, actually, this is not needed. Just we need this. Now this should be the score. I'm going to display the score. Now I'll put the title as, title of the dialog box as done. Okay, is done. And I will have a button to exit the screen. Okay, so you need to have, again, the display for the button is okay. If you give okay, it will go to the previous whatever operation what we want. Okay, so if it is not completed, if it is not greater, the index is not greater, then again I have to load the questions. Okay, so this thing, this function should be called. So what I do is I duplicate this. So if there are still more questions, then I will call the load question. Now if you run this, now the quiz block will come to an end and it will wait. But instead, if you want to take the quiz again, after this all the questions is over, if you want to take the quiz again, it is better you set the global index to 1 again, like what you did, 1 again, and the score to 0, and display the first question again. Okay, display the first question again. So that will be good. Okay, another, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this setting method. Okay, set. Okay, I'm going to do set. No, I just, so it's rather simple. Set global index to 1. Okay, I'm going to set this to 1. So it's like a reset. Reset to start again. And the global score I'll set to 0. And I will call the load question again. Okay, yes. Now the entire initialization is everything is done. What we will do. So here, actually, I have placed this set score originally here actually, but this is when the selected option is correct. Actually, this setting should be done. So I take this set score alone inside the if condition. Okay, so I'm taking this set score to inside the loop. Okay, I've taken it inside. Hope it is clear now. Okay, I've made one change. So this is set score. What was here. Actually, I intended to put this inside. Okay, and one more thing to be done is whenever the button is clicked, that is option one. When option one is clicked, okay, when these buttons are clicked, we need to do functionality. What is that? No, that particular answer should be matched. So when this button is clicked, option one is clicked, you need to call the function check answer. So you need to call this function check answer. And the selected option is 1. Okay. So this is 1. 1. Similarly, I duplicate this for the 3 buttons. So 2, and here I change it to 2. Again I duplicate it. Here I change it to 3. Okay. Button 3. Okay, that is actually okay. So I have taken every component and I have selected the when click button. Since it was showing an error, what I did is I clicked every component separately and I dragged this particular block here. Okay. So because it's saying an error when it is a duplicate, since it is functionality related blocks. So I have taken every button separately and I have put the check answer block. Okay. Now we make one final change, that is this option buttons, in order to the answer to be displayed properly, go to width and change to fill parent. Okay. Similarly, you do it for the option 2. Go to width, fill parent. Similarly for option 3. Okay. Now we'll connect our phone. Okay, go to your M12 app in your MIT AI companion app. Scan the QR code. So application is getting connected. Yes. Now I have my phone. Yes. This is my phone connected. So I just click on the correct answer. Binary value of 8 is. Okay. So the first score is updated. Your score is updated. And again, BCD code is also known as. So again, the correct answer. So score is updated. And a byte consists of 8-bit. Okay. So the score is updated here. A message box is updated. So quiz completed. The score is 3. Okay. Yeah. We are done with. Okay. Hope this was useful to you. Thank you.